And this is one of those things that's going to haunt me for the rest of my life. And I'm not even sure that I should share this confession with you. Hello, and welcome to my channel again. I'm Beth, and this is Spiral Path Arts, if you didn't know where you were. Now you do. I wanted to share a little unboxing, if you will, or a haul, if you will, but with a little bit of a twist. Not a big twist for me, because this is how I operate. I have not gone shopping. I did not order anything. This is not sponsored. No one sent me this to advertise their goods. What I have here is this big Rubbermaid Hyper Tough, I guess that means it's Walmart, crate that my sister sent me, and it arrived yesterday. Now, if you've been with me this summer, you know that my father passed away in August, died in August, and my mother is in a nursing home. And so my siblings have been cleaning out their house. Mainly my sister and my brother, who live more locally, and then my other sister, who lives more regionally. I live very far away from home. So as they've been cleaning out, my sister has gotten these bins and been, either as we're talking, checking in with each other, saying if there's anything in particular you want from the house, let me know. And if nobody else, if nobody has to do a street fight to determine who gets it, which hasn't happened yet, I'll put it in your box, or I'll set it aside, or I'll put your name on it. Now, there's some bigger items. I won't say ticket items. Nothing is worth anything monetarily, or very little monetarily. Yeah, there haven't been any arguments over who gets what. But so yesterday this arrived on my doorstep, and there's a nice little note here from my sister, which I won't read because obviously it's a personal letter. These are the rules. I wish this whole process came with a rule book. You may open and go through it all at once, take out one item a day, dump it all in the dumpster. That's how it's been for me. Some days I can dive right in and sort and clear, but other days I just get stuck and I can't make a decision. So there was more in here, obviously, but so no rules, just right. Okay, so I kind of had an idea of what some of the things in here, because again, we had talked about it over videos and stuff like that. But anyway, it was quite an experience. Now, I have already been through this, so this is not like a true unboxing. I already went through it on video with my sisters. But I thought there's some random stuff in here that won't mean anything to any of you, or either that or I just don't really want to share. But there's some things that are kind of interesting. So the first I already had unpacked and put on my dresser in my bedroom, so I will, but I brought them in here to show you. These there's actually two little containers. They're colored glass. Oops, that one just lost its lid. Sat on my mother's dresser for a very, very long time. I do believe they were my grandmother's, or maybe even great-grandmother's prior to that. But they're very pretty. They have kind of probably Bakelite type lids, but have like kind of a mother of pearl look to them. And can that focus? Is that focusing? I think it is. And there's random stuff inside. A name tag with my dad's name on it. And a little angel pin. But this one is full of, like, do you remember stick pins? Was that the early 80s or the late 70s? Where we all had to have stick pins on our scarves and things. A bunch of stick pins. Some of them might even be hat pins from, like I said, my grandmother or great-grandmother. So this is just like a little, sits on your dresser for your stuff and things. But this one has always interested me when I was a kid and things. And get down in the comments and let me know if you know what this is, that it has a hole in the top. So right now, go down there and tell me what you think a little dresser or vanity container like this with a hole in the top means. I'll give you a second, and then I'll tell you, because I already know. I'm not asking because I'm just asking if anybody else knows. This is for your hair. So when you take your hair out and you brush it and you clean out your brush, you're just tuck the hair in here until it gets full of hair. Now, why you would say would somebody want to collect their hair. You know, I mean, maybe it's just a easier way to do it so the hair isn't in your drain and all over your house. Hi, Maeve. But one of my sisters, we were talking about this morning, and what she remembers, and I believe is the reason. So again, come in the comments and tell me if this is true or not, if you know for a fact, that you'd collect your hair in here. And you know how now you can buy like the Bumpits, or you can buy those little foamy, meshy donuts to go on your ponytail if you've got thinner hair to fill it out. Rats is what, you know, hair rats or whatever, I think was what we used to call them. Well, back in Victorian times, or, you know, before Bumpits and things like that were available, women would collect their hair as they cleaned out their brush or whatever, and then make little rats, little balls of their own hair to put in, and then roll the hair up over it like the Gibson girl look, or that kind of thing. So there's your historic what is it answer for today. So let's see what else is in this box, because some of the things I didn't unwrap. I just looked at what my sister wrote on the box and said, oh, I'll open those later. But I thought I'd share some of the fun things. Now this one came from a cabinet, and I know what it says on the box, but I hadn't unwrapped it yet. So there's this little milk glass hobnail, I'm going to say candy dish. And I think, if I remember correctly, this is what happens when your parents live into their 90s and live in the same house for 70 years and don't throw anything away. You never know what you're going to get. So yes, there's a little hobnail saucer to that. I don't know if that's candy dish, a sugar bowl. Well, let's see what else is in here. Maybe it is a sugar bowl, because maybe there's a creamer. I don't remember. Okay, this is the other thing, which I'll show you in a second. I just don't remember if there was more to the hobnail. Yes, okay. So then there's this little, I would call that a sugar bowl. Maeve, you're really not helping me too much here. And there's the little creamer. So we have the sugar, the little mini sugar and creamer. And then there's this. So, nothing of great value, but of some of its sentimental value. And then this little spoon, I don't know if that goes with the hobnail or if that was just something Mom said in there. Miss Maeve, you are kind of a pain in my butt right now. Oh no, I hope you didn't just do that. Well, I have a broken piece of china, which happens. So I won't show you, the saucer is in about 5 different pieces. But it is the matching saucer to this teacup, which has pansies. And I am wearing a long sleeve shirt, but if you were with me in an earlier video, I showed you my new tattoo that has pansies on it, and there's significance. But unfortunately, the saucer did not make the trip from Michigan. Okay, my dear, where can I put that? We don't want to repeat. I haven't been in this room very much recently. I've been busy doing other things. So Miss Maeve and it has not had enough attention. Okay, we're gonna put those there and put those little, oh, hear them clanking around. Close the lid so they don't get broken. Okay, some of the stuff I'm gonna go through real quick. DVDs of probably the first 2 seasons of Call the Midwife and the first 3 seasons of Downton Abbey. I'm pretty sure I gave these to my mom when they were, first came out, because Mom and Dad spent a lot of time in their motorhome and they had a little DVD player. And yeah, so road maps. There are at least 4 state of Michigan road maps. So there's that. And then there's a Tennessee and an Alabama, which is interesting because I've lived in both of these states, and my mom and dad did come visit me in Tennessee. I don't see a year on this one. So maybe they bought this for that trip. But this Alabama one is from 1991-92. I was still living in, actually had just barely moved to Illinois when this one was new. So I don't remember them ever going to Alabama, but they have a map. But these are going to be in my art supplies. Okay, this also is kind of boring. It's a bag of cotton yarn and a bunch of different colors. I think this is something that had been mine, and I don't know why it ended up at Mom's. Because my mom wasn't a knitter or a crocheter or anything. Anyway, neither here nor there. Okay, these two things are kind of related. This little peanut butter jar, Jif, of spools, thread spools, needles, seam ripper. I think there's actually a pair of, yeah, there's a pair of stork scissors in here. I haven't tried to snip anything with them to see if they're sharp at all, but, so there's that. Probably something Mom like kept near her where she hand sewed things and stuff. And then everybody's mom and grandma, oops, has a cookie tin full of random things. I mean, some of you might have a grandma with a cookie tin full of weed, but not me. It's all wooden thread spools, and I'm very excited about that. I haven't, gone through. Is that wood? No, that's cardboard. Mercerized crochet 30 weight. Yeah, so there's some very interesting little spools of thread. I think they're all cotton. I don't remember my mom ever like sewing with silk, but look at that. Isn't that cute? This little, it's like a double spool, and it's teeny tiny. So these are going to be, again, probably put into some kind of art projects or some miniature little what sort of what? Meditation scrolls, something like that, or just a big glass jar, I might think. Okay, well, let's see what's in this little. Oh, okay. Well, all right. While we're on the subject, I do have a small bag of thimbles, and one, which is tiny, won't fit on any of my fingers, is a metal one, but there's a wooden one, and then there are 3 porcelain ones. Unfortunately, one of the porcelain ones is broken. Oh, there's another little metal one inside of, I haven't taken them out of the bag. Look how tiny. Can you see how tiny that little, come on. I don't know. It might fit on my pinky. Little silver one. But what else? Since tis the season, I'm going to put those in there with the spools so I don't lose them. There were a few tears as I was opening this last night on video with my sisters. And this might have been one of the things. Well, okay. There's just a little Christmas tree ornament. Nothing, no memories or significance to that. But these 3, and I don't think they have any kind of markings, but I remember them from my childhood. I think they were my grandmother's. There are 3 little angels. They do have loops on the back, so maybe they were on our tree at some point, Christmas tree. So, and my sisters and I there's 3 of us, so anything that comes in sets of 3, 3 female figures, it's just always been special, because, yeah, the 3 sisters. So I remember these. I kind of remember, I think maybe I remember the mom grandma's tree, or I just remember having them around when I was a kid. So those are going to go somewhere safe. I think they're some kind of plaster. Actually, they do. That one says, it says Italy on the bottom. So those Italian creche sets? They're kind of that. I can't remember the name of them. Again, put it in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. And then, oh, his little manger is a poor little orphaned baby Jesus. There's no Mary Joseph. There's no goats, no sheep, no cows, no wise men. Just he's being babysat by 3 angels. So those all go. I didn't really decorate a lot for Christmas this year for a variety of reasons. So that will be my one and only Christmas decoration. I did put up the tree, but I didn't decorate it. And the only reason I put it up was because it was in my way. And I'm like, well, if I have to move this damn tree around all year long to get to stuff in my shed, I'm gonna put the darn thing up for a couple months. Okay, anyway, this is where costume changes. So here is a, like a Laura Ingalls Wilder prairie style bonnet. It does not fit on my noggin very well, but here we go. And the matching dress. Oops, what did I just drop? Oh, something the kittens were playing with. Doesn't belong in the box. So this is just like a cotton calico prairie dress. And you guessed it, if you didn't guess it, my mother made this. When did my mother make this and for what reason? Now, if you're about my age, you probably think, oh, well, maybe she made it for the U.S. bicentennial in 1976. No, she did not. She made it in 1962 for the Michigan centennial. So, Trivial Pursuit, if you want to know what year Michigan became a state, it was 1862. Here's the thing. My oldest sister was born in 1962, and my middle sister was born in 63, right? Mathing here, yes. Yes. So my mother made this the summer that she had just had a baby, and they're a year and 3 weeks apart, so she didn't have a whole lot of time between having one sister and being pregnant for the next sister. Let's just clarify that. But can you see how I thought when I pulled this out that this was the dress my mom made for me in 1976 when I was 9 years old. But no, this is one she made for herself as a grown woman, and it is itty bitty. So just keep in mind the size of this dress. Okay, kitten, because there will be more. Okay, we're gonna random little stack of books. This is a book I gave my dad a couple years ago after I moved to Alabama. It's called Alabama Afternoons, Profiles and Conversations by Roy Hoffman. I don't think I had a chance to read it before I sent it to him, but it's little short stories. And I'm pretty sure he read it because we had a conversation about something in here. I can't remember. So I'll reread it. I'll keep it in my Alabama section. Don't Squat with Your Spurs On, A Cowboy's Guide to Life. And again, if you've been with me, if you watched the video about going home for my dad's funeral and before his funeral for his birthday, 11 days before he passed, he got to ride a horse. So there's a video of that back. So, Old Cowboy. I'm trying to think see if there's. Let's see. A woman's heart is like a campfire. If you don't tend to it regular, you'll soon lose it. All right. We could go through these cowboy guide to life for an entire video. And then this is the red hymnal. Now, I grew up in Presbyterian church, Midwestern Presbyterian church, and we always had two sets of hymnals. We had the red hymnal and the blue hymnal. And Lord, when they changed from one to the other, I don't even remember what the whole thing is, but if you grew up like that, you might know. But on the Sundays, like once or twice a year when the pastor would go on vacation and not be there, we just have a hymn sing instead of like a sermon and everything. So the organist and the piano player we'd have both sets of hymnals out, and anybody in the congregation could, pick their favorite hymn and ask us all to sing it. Oh, there were some, you're like, oh, I know somebody's gonna pick, something I can't write off the top of my head, but those that I don't remember which came first, the red hymnal or the blue hymnal. But anyway, I asked my sister if there was any hymnals sitting around that I would like one. Not that I go to church regularly anymore, and if I do, they probably don't use these old hymnals. I wonder if there's a date. Copyright 1947. And I remember these hymnals when I was a kid, and I was born 20 years after this hymnal was published. So, anyway, again, these might go, this might, don't be mad at me, but there's probably hundreds of these somewhere in the Presbyterian churches in Michigan. Probably going to use some of the pages from here as in some of my paper arts. Okay, let's move on. Oh, I should have found a page in here. Let's see if I can find one quick. These are just some of the yearbooks, and for some reason, again, if you're of a certain age, is this a thing? What did you call your yearbook when you were in school? We always called it the scribe, and it was just a given. And then as I got older, I'm like, oh, maybe not every school called it the scribe, and I don't know why we did. But these, some of these are from my middle school years. Oh wait, this isn't a scribe. Home is where you hang your heart. Patterns. Oh, well, these are things I didn't see these last night. Okay, we'll get to those in a second. We'll finish talking about the scribes. So there's about 3 from my middle school years and 2 from high school. I know I have my senior one here already. But let's see. What year is this? 83? I graduated. So I think I was a sophomore in this one. Oh. There's somebody's picture I just flipped to, who I'm still Facebook friends with, and I don't think she's changed a whole lot. Okay, here we are, sophomores. Are these alphabetical? Okay, there I am. I'm this gal right here. So not everybody in the 80s had huge hair, but this was 83. This was kind of before the big hair. We all had the feathered hair at that point. All right. I won't probably, should I try to find one from middle school? Oh. Okay, I just flipped to my class. I'm telling you, we all still look like these kids. If I see any of these people today, I'm like, oh yeah, you still look the same. Oh my God, this is the worst. This was my worst year, but it's too tiny for you to see. Before big hairband hair, just good old ugly perms were a thing. And as you can see now, I have a lot of hair, but back then I didn't have long hair. And I had glasses. Oh my God, that is just, I remember that year. I'd actually kind of like to forget it. Okay, that's the fun of, but then these were with the scribes. I didn't realize what these were. These are patterns for rub out. I think in the 70s, early 80s, that word meant something different, that term. But my mom was much like, this is where I get most of it. I have a bad hip and I'm sitting on it bad. I gotta shift. Oof. Okay. She did toll painting and oil painting because, like I said, I was much like myself, but I guess me being much like her, if we see something, an art form, a craft, then I go, oh, that looks interesting, let me try it. And we'll go deep into it for a little while and then kind of leave it aside. So she did a lot of really interesting oil paintings. The Georgia Fiesel method of rub-out painting. People found that even though they couldn't draw a straight line, they could indeed paint a rub-out. Rub-out is a method of oil painting easily done on any light-colored sealed surface. It differs from regular oil painting in that rather than painting in your highlights, you lift them or rub them out with a cotton swab, cotton ball, or terp brush. Huh. Well, interesting. And I think what you're supposed to take these little images and, probably like a transfer paper to transfer the image onto whatever you're going to paint, and then you follow her her directions. I am not going to get into, sorry, sitting on the floor right now, it's not a good thing for me because I've got some things going on, physical things. But anyway, Georgia Feasel. So if you have an art influencer of her day, pre-YouTube and Instagram and things. Oh, what's this one? I wonder if that's one Mom did. I don't remember. I remember her doing like these, Dad making like these boards for her and sealing them, and her doing paintings on them. But evidently Grumbacher had its own rub-out painting starter set. Anyone can paint a rub-out. Fun. It's just it's. But some of these images, I kind of have a vague memory of Mom maybe painting on things. But they're interesting, so I could either scan them and, use them somehow in that way, or I could trace them, or I don't know, I could cut them and collage them. Interesting. I didn't know those were in there, so there was a new one. Okay, do we go clothing-wise? Do we go what's in this box? Oh no, we don't go what's in that box. Okay, Christmas stockings with myself, my daughters, and my ex-husband. Christmas stockings. Now, we had, when I was a kid, bigger felt stockings. But then once we all started getting married and having children, my mom would still do, and I think she found that the big stockings were a little expensive and too much to fill when she had like 20 of them to fill. So she made these, and we'd get there at Christmas, whenever we were having family Christmas, and they'd all be up around the Franklin stove in the family room. And there'd be something in all of them, except for probably Mom's. So I remember making a realization one year. I'm like, oh, there's like a candy bar and a toothbrush and whatever else in all these stockings, but Mom's would hang there empty because nobody thought to put anything in hers. So probably the next year I brought like wooden spoons or something stupid to put in hers. But when you know better, you do better. I would do anything to be able to go back. Okay, here is a apron that I made Mom. This is, what is this fabric? Is this Amy Butler fabric? It might be. I can't remember. When I had my fabric store, craft sewing store, I made this for. And I'm happy to say it looks like it's been washed and washed and washed, which means it's been worn. It was worn and worn and worn. So, but I love the fabric on that one. I think I do. Oh, somewhere I have a pincushion made with this fabric. So I have still scraps, remnants of that fabric left over. Here, you want an apron, kitten? Okay. All right, I want to show you this dress. This one was one of the, kind of like the angels, brought back memories and made me choke up a little bit last night. So, my mother graduated high school in 1953, and there's a picture of her with my dad. We were talking about this last night. It wasn't their honeymoon because they got married in November and went to Niagara Falls for their honeymoon. So she wouldn't have been wearing this dress in Canada or New York or whatever in November. So, but Dad was in the Army in Kentucky. And so I think when he finished basic training, Mom and Grandma and Grandpa went down to see him, and that probably would have been in the summer before they got married. Anyway, and I think that's where I seen this dress. But okay, it's a little sundress from the 50s, so it's got this beautifully ruched bodice, and I'm gonna assume Mom made it because I see hand stitching in here, and she made everything. Back then in the 50s, you made your stuff because it was less expensive than going, and when you lived in a rural area, you couldn't, there weren't department stores. But this was also in our dress-up box when I was a kid. And I remember when I was little and my sisters and I would dress up, and again, I'm younger than them, I always wanted to wear this dress, but I didn't have anything to fill out this top. Now, my mother wasn't either particularly busty, but she, it's 50s. It's built, it's strapless, so who knows what she did with the girls in there. But anyway, but then once I got big enough to fit in the dress, I didn't fit in the dress, if you know what I mean. But again, look, I can't even begin. Do I have a measuring tape handy? Not within reach. But it's adorable. And so my daughter, my youngest daughter, there are some stains on it, and I don't know what the stains are. But I remember the stains being there back when I was a kid, so they've been on there for a while. But my youngest daughter is a teeny tiny little thing, and I'm going to see if this will fit her, and I'll have to repair the straps, even just to get a picture of her in it. But if she thinks she would wear this vintage, I mean, she can have the Centennial Prairie dress and do her best Little House cosplay if she wants. But I'm thinking that the sundress, the 1950s sundress, is probably more likely to be something that she would want. All right, these other two boxes, I don't know what else is in here. Oh, what's that? Okay, we'll set these two boxes aside. I'm not gonna. So then there's a bag of, I guess you call them, vintage sewing patterns. Nothing too exciting, but I'll just flip through them real quick with you. This one, well, these two I guess would go together. If I ever get a boyfriend, I can make us matching Western wear shirts. This one I do remember, and I remember, I think I made it, or maybe I had Mom make it for me, because it comes with those little iron-on transfers for embroidering, you know, like the yokes, make your own little nudie suit. They're in here. They are in here. So those are in there. I believe, I am almost 100% sure that this is the pattern that my bridesmaids' dresses in 1989 were made out of, that my sisters, so were too many bridesmaids. And these must have been for my sisters because they're size 6, 8, and 10. And even by the time I got married, I was no longer a size 6, 8, or a 10. But then there's some four children's patterns. I think these were maybe more from the 80s when my nieces and nephews. So I could do a whole family Western wear thing. So I think these were things that patterns my mom made for my nieces, who are now very much grown-ass young women. Hey. Okay. And then I think the last art supply that's in here is this calligraphy set. And I don't remember my mother learning calligraphy, but she had beautiful handwriting, so maybe she did. But there's a halfway decent Schaefer fountain pen in here, and I do like fountain pens. I have a very small collection. So, and there's ink refills, but I'm sure, ink cartridges, but I'm sure they're all dried out and whatever, so. Okay, the last two things that are in here are these boxes. This shoebox, oh wait, there's a, all right, well, all right, where are my 80s gals, my Gen Xers? Do you remember writing letters in class, you know, to your friends, and then folding them up like this to hand, you know, to share, you know, between classes? That's pretty much, not all. I haven't started reading these. I don't even know who they're to and from. But we would like start a letter and we'd hand it off and then they'd write back and give it back, you know. Or sometimes if there was like a little, like a Mean Girls tiff going on, a friend would pass it on. Oh yeah, these are drama high school. I don't even know who these are. Who's this from? But we had beautiful pen, Susan. Oh, Yeah, she became like super religious and never talked to any of us ever again. I wonder what happened with her other than that. But beautiful, like cursive handwriting in the 80s. I don't know if I want to read how many of these I'm going to go through and read, but there are a number of them in here, a whole box of them. And the fact that they have stuck around for over 40 years is a little scary, because who else maybe has gone through this box and looked at any of these? I don't think very many. Oh, this one is kind of interesting how it's folded like a little envelope. We had evidently too much time on our hands. Oh, this is like a whole frickin' origami thing. Yeah, a lot of like, oh, does so-and-so like me? Should I tell him he likes me? Or he just told me he was going to ask so-and-so. I mean, you forget when you get older, like what little drama queens we were. Okay, then this box is more of the same. There are some like mailed letters in here as well. And It's from a guy that I completely forgot existed, but he must have. Remember, this is what you end up when you're Gen X. You don't have Snapchats that disappear. You don't have old email addresses that you no longer have access to. You get a new phone, you lose all your texts. No, 40 some years later, this shit resurfaces and you have to relive it for good or bad. All right, this is another box of letters, and I did start going through some of these last night, but these, unlike those, well, yeah, those are all to me too, but those were like just little, like I said, notes. Some of these are, who the hell is that? Someone in France. Who did I have a pen? Remember pen pals? I must have had a French pen pal. I am called Robert Valeray, and I am 16 years old. I have a brother. His name is Johannes, and he is 18 years old. My sister is Sonia, and she is 14 years old. I have 2 dogs. One of them is named Dolly, and the other is a little poodle. She has 2 months, and her name is Telly. My mother works at school with the little children. My father works in an office at Électricité de France. Sorry. Oh, maybe it doesn't have a date on it. I did take French in high school, so maybe we had French pen pals, but he wrote in English. I don't know. My brother is a pork butcher. I live in a house at Cormas. It's near Valence. I send you my photo, and I hope you send me yours. I speak English and German. I have 2 pen friends who live in England, and you are my first pen friend who lives in USA. And I have his address. Should I write back to this address and say, do you still live here? And is your brother still a pork butcher? Because, although, see, we had pig butchering scams even back in the 80s. I gotta shift, my foot's falling asleep. But they were a little different. They came in avion, airmail from France. So the original pig butcher. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you don't know anybody that's been scammed. But what I was getting at, a lot of these are letters to me, like through high school. I did a number of things. I had friends all over the state of Michigan, and I did some pen pals and things like, I was a 4-H kid, so I had 4-H friends in different places. But amongst those are a whole bunch of letters that I wrote to Mom and Dad, and Mom saved. Well, they both saved. Dad didn't throw a damn thing away. When I was at Michigan State University in college. And I read a few of those last night, and whoo, lordy. That was my cousin Rhonda. I had a weird dream about her recently. Anyway, so these have been interesting. I don't know if I am, oh, here's pictures. If I'm going to keep these, if I'm gonna look through them, throw some, I mean, if they're from people I have no memory of, unless they're from France, I'm probably not gonna keep. Oh my, here's a whole bunch of school pictures. Oh, it's my cousin of friends. He's cute. I don't remember who he was. Anyway, okay, there's a fun envelope. But again, do you remember doing this? Because my kids never did this. When you get your school pictures, you know, you'd get like a sheet of them, and you'd get some that were like the big ones that, well, you got like the 5 to 7s you grabbed to grandma at Christmas time, right? But then you got like the wallet size ones. And then you'd also get like a sheet of these little almost postage stamp ones. And you kind of had to like determine, is this person who's asking to exchange pictures with you, are they wallet size worthy or are they postage stamp size worthy? And then you would write, somebody say, oh, I'd like, could I have one of your school pictures? When the pictures came out, and you're like, oh yeah. I remember even like keeping a list in my, I don't think I had a Trapper Keeper. I wasn't cool enough for a Trapper Keeper, but I probably had like a spiral notebook. A list of, you know, who I needed to grade out pictures to. And then next time you had class with them, you know, if you had time, you had written it out. Because you didn't just hand somebody your picture with nothing on the back. That was the epitome of rude. No, you had to write a little special note on the back of your picture. So it was a whole thing. You first had to, like, if there was like somebody that you was kind of popular or cool or older, like one of the old, like the seniors or something, you wanted one of their pictures, but you weren't sure if you were cool enough to get a picture from them, or maybe you'd get a postage size picture. Yeah, so you'd write like these little, I mean, sometimes I don't remember. Oh, I do remember her. I tap danced with her once. That's a weird, weird memory. She was in a dance group. Yeah, so you'd write like a little message. I'm trying to find one that's, Beth, you are a great person and a good friend. Stay crazy and you'll go far in life. Well, she was right there. Good luck in all you do and behave yourself. Love, Terry, class of 85. So, oh, this was fun. She wrote like in a circle. I don't have the energy to read that. Oh. She's telling me to practice my French horn half-hour a day. She sat next to me in band. No, I did not practice my French horn half-hour a day. That took me back. A little GenX flashback. Let's see. No idea who you. Oh, yes, I do. I know who you are. Don't like you. Look. Oh, there's a theater girl picture. Okay, remember how I was saying how skinny my mother was, and I don't remember her ever thinking she was skinny? That's me. There, I'm covering up my friend with my finger. But I remember feeling so fat in the 80s. And I was all of probably 110 pounds. Anyway, we got messed with mentally. I mean, goes without saying, right? Oh, I wish I'd not had this. One of the girls in this picture, my ex-husband dated in high school. Oh, there's an ex-boyfriend. Yikes. God, what did I ever see in him? He's even worse than... Anyway, my parents had these and they didn't incriminate me. Whose kitchen? Oh, that's our kitchen. Okay. Oh my God, these are embarrassing. But that's what they're supposed to be, I guess. Yeah. We didn't live our lives online, so there's no incriminating evidence that way. But if your parents kept things forever, there are incriminating evidence in physical form. So I think I might need to start burning some things, because here I am in my parents' kitchen looking to be probably a junior, maybe a senior in high school, with a Budweiser can, a cigarette, and I'm flipping the bird to whoever took the picture. Kind of wish that was on Snapchat and disappeared into the ether. Oh, a note from my other sister. All right, this has gone on way long enough, but it's been a little bit, I kind of shift again, and I'm sure this is going to be unattractive. Oh, goodness sake. I need to get on this floor and do some yoga and things. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little trip down memory lane. And if you've been through this process with cleaning out a loved one's home, you know, especially your childhood home, I mean, I don't know that any current or future generations are going to have this kind of Gen X millennial kind of experience, because rarely do we stay in the same home for 70 years, raise our children there, retire there, and live there until we're 90 and we die. And that might be for the betterment of our children and their mental health when it comes time, when we do get to that stage. So very few of us are going, you know, our children are probably not going to have this experience. But if you've had this experience, what are some of the weirdest things you found in your parents' home? What are some of the, like, oh my God, I can't believe they kept this? Especially if it relates to you, like the picture of me with the Budweiser and the cigarette. And yeah, my parents were not home, I guarantee it, when that picture was taken. I don't know where, again, Gen X, just feral children doing feral children things, evidently. But yeah, I'd love to know, like, what are some of the childhood memories? I mean, because I appreciate my sister sending this stuff to me, because it makes me part of the process. And I have been not feeling left out. I'm the youngest of 4 siblings. I always feel left out. But it just, so maybe, I don't know if that's the word, feeling left out, but kind of separated from the process. I don't know who this person is. I think it's partly my personality that I tend to romanticize things, or yeah, I think that's probably the best term, romanticize things. So when this all started, my vision, my romanticizing it, it's like, oh, my siblings and we're all gonna get together. It's gonna be like a movie, right? We're all gonna get together with you know, all of us and the spouses and maybe some of the adult children, and, you know, spend a week or two, spend some time, random weekends, whatever, all together at the farm, cleaning out basements and attics and closets and kitchen cabinets and basements and all the things. And, you know, it'll be kind of a bonding experience with my siblings, and we'll all be able to share memories and pull stuff out. And we were kind of joking early on when I was still up there, because we were looking for random things when Dad was in the hospital, and we'd open drawers and we'd be like, what the F is this? And so I joked, oh, we'll get us all matching t-shirts that say, what the F is this? Because as you're just doing that kind of thing. But anyway, that's not how it has progressed, obviously, because we all haven't been able to be there at the same time, and different people have been there doing different things. Like I said, my sister and her husband and my brother have been doing the majority of the work, and my sister-in-law, putting things on Facebook Marketplace, then eBay, and cleaning stuff out, and they didn't get garbage load after garbage load after garbage load, and recycling and all the things. It's a huge job. I don't feel bad that I wasn't there for that. But the discovery of these random things you haven't seen in 40 years, and yeah. So I really appreciate that my sister kind of included me in the fun, if you will, of that. And I know she's had a go of it, because she was the main one there, running Dad to doctor's appointments and emergency rooms and all the things during the last couple of years. So, and she and my brother were, you know, doing all the hard stuff of getting mom into the nursing home and getting all the financials and things like that. So let's see, one final envelope I'm going to see. I don't know what's in here. It's got my name on it, my maiden name, and it's from the school that I graduated from, the school district. So it's either my transcripts, oh, it's a thank you note from my high school principal. And the president of the hometown sports boosters. And this is one of those things that's going to haunt me for the rest of my life. And I'm not even sure that I should share this confession with you. Okay, so this one's just a nice thank you note. Congratulate you on the fine job you did in organizing and participating in the variety show this past weekend. Your contributions were significant and helped us carry off a contribution to the sports program. I am like not a sports person, so this is really funny that I put a lot of work into something to support the frickin' sports boosters rather than any of the arts programs in our school. But you know, you do what you do. This program involves no cost, and 100% of the income is contributed to the program. Your experience and energy lent much to the success of the evening. Many thanks. Okay, that's nice. Probably should put this in my college applications. This one from the same event, but from the sports boosters, it's embarrassing. So the sports boosters would like to take this opportunity to thank you for assisting the high school football coach and teacher with the variety show. That's Entertainment Part 2. To take over when Mr. C was unable to attend the shows must have been a very difficult task. I have no memory of this, but evidently the show must go on. Come on, kids, let's put a show on in the barn. Anyway, we appreciate all the hard work and tense moments you must have experienced. Also, here's the kicker. Here's the embarrassing part. Congratulations on your performance as Michael Jackson. It was excellent. Sincerely, Mr. Westover, Marlette Sports Booster President. Once again, a reason that I am very thankful that I was a high school student long before the internet and phone cameras and things like that. Probably in that one yearbook, there might be a photo of me dressed and performing as Michael Jackson. But let's hope nobody has like video evidence that they can get to, because suffice it to say, I went all in on wanting to look like Michael Jackson for this performance. When you know better, you do better. Is that an excuse for a 15-year-old? Why didn't one of the teachers or my parents or anyone go, that L'Oreal foundation in dark mahogany might not be the best choice. And again, remember, this was like the early 80s when Michael was still L'Oreal mahogany color. Pre-Thriller. Yeah. So I'm just going to go on the record and apologize right now. Now, just to lighten the mood, the following year, I performed as Dolly Parton. Not as embarrassed over buying a large Playtex bra and stuffing it with whatever I found to stuff it with, and wearing a pink sequined sweater and cowboy boots and my American Lit English teacher's blonde wig. Yeah, that was embarrassing, having to go to this teacher and ask if I could borrow one of her wigs, because she wore, now I know, 40 years later, she had alopecia. Didn't know what that was back then either. But she always had amazingly beautiful, high-quality blonde wigs, and she'd been wearing them for decades, so she had quite a collection. She was very gracious and very sweet, and I think she'd already been kind of forewarned or buttered up by the teacher who was in charge of this show. So I'm not nearly as embarrassed that I dressed up as Dolly Parton and sang, I don't know, well, I didn't sing it, I lip-synced it, because nobody wants to hear me sing Dolly Parton, or anything else for that matter. But the Michael Jackson thing has weighed heavy on my heart and my conscience for my entire life ever since then. So, yeah, that happened. All right, well, if you've got some embarrassing high school memories or things you want to share with the rest of us, talk amongst yourself down in the comments. And if you were in my high school around the mid 83, 84, somewhere in that, and you went to that Sports Boosters and you still have an old VHS recording of that performance, burn it now. I will pay you anything. Yeah, anyway, I love talking to you. I love sharing some of these memories, good and bad and otherwise, with you. And I hope a week or so before Christmas, I hope I get this out this week. And if not, whatever you celebrate this year, this time of year, I hope you have a good one. And if you don't celebrate anything at all, I hope you have a good, that one too. I don't know if I'm getting any sense. Can you tell I don't use a script? Anyway, okay. And look at, I'm working on this. It's happening. There's exciting news about that kind of thing, but I'll save that for another video. Peace out. Love you lots. Take care of yourself. And don't dress in blackface. Don't do it. Don't.